with no bullshit, bullshit aside, no, no BS, no crap. Can AMC really hit $1,000? Can AMC really goes from where we're sitting right now, around 14 and some change, and go all the way up to $1,000 a piece? So, as always, there are two pieces. There are two coins, two faces of every coin, right? So there is the bull case and all the reasons why this is possible. But I don't want to be a dreamer, all right? Because the stock market and life in general doesn't work that way. So we're going to also look at some other stuff that are maybe the reason why AMC cannot reach $1,000, and we're going to dip into those. But let me start with sharing this picture. This is a screenshot of a tweet. Amazon fell from $110 to $11 before going to $3,000. Bitcoin dropped from 20,000 all the way down to 3 and some change thousand before going all the way up to $60,000 a coin. You also look at Tesla. It went from 300 down to 180 before going all the way up to $2,000 before the split. So the trick here is, it's not about picking the right, it's holding them. That we already know, all right? But let me also share this with people, because I think it's going to be really realistic into trying to get that answer on AMC reaching 1,000. Because usually, and I think this is kind of what a lot of people, I would say 99% of people who bought AMC back in January, February, March of 2021. We all thought, we're all under the impression, and this is nothing wrong, because this is just what happens when you are in such a highly hyped stock in the market, all right? So we were all under the impression that, hey, we bought it at, no matter the share price, everybody was winning, and we were discovering and uncovering new information, new pieces, new evidence left and right, and we were all under the impression that this thing was supposed to go to the moon literally the next day, the following week, or the following month, or the following quarter. And so far it hasn't happened yet, but it doesn't mean it may not happen, right? Because usually when you make a plan, things never go according to plan. I'm going to buy at 2, it's going to go to 50, I'm going to sell and let the rest ride to, 100, and then I'm going to cash out 100,000 or 500,000 or whatever, the profit may be according to your position size, and then I'm going to use that money to do this, and that. But usually in life, even with life, when you plan your day ahead, things pop. And it's going to be the exact same thing. So why am I kind of, attracting your attention, guys, around this? Because it's important. It's important to set expectations, because when you have expectations set, if you're realistic about those expectations, well, it makes sense for you not to overreact when it's times to adjust your plan. Because the bull case around AMC hitting $1,000, here it is. First off, right now we're sitting on 176 million shares on loan. When AMC hit the all-time high back in June 2021, it was sitting around 136 million shares on loan. So when you add to that the short interest, really high at this point, but the utilization rate at 100% so far, and you add to that the fact that the cost to borrow is closing to the 15%, which is kind of never hit those before. So in conjunction to that, AMC, it's kind of primed to rip. Now the question is, would it rip so hard that it hit 1,000? I don't think it's going to be a straight line to $1,000. I don't think it's going to be a straight line. Now, the second reason I want to point out here is in the mix is, well, when you look at the amount of shares that are out there in terms of the synthetics, the shares that they had to create, the shares that they had to fabricate, the shares that they had to, fabricate fake shares in order to maintain the price of AMC this low, because when you look at the amount of people buying and selling, it is still way in favor of those buying versus those selling. So they had to come up with a plan to push and maintain the price as low as possible, because by doing so through the dark pools, they're able to do so, because otherwise AMC will be hitting like unimaginable highs right now, because people are still buying and holding, and that is also a very, very bull case. Now, the third thing is, we are getting into an environment where for the last 20 years, the market has been pumped or operating into a system, into an environment where interest rates were very, very low. So borrowing money on margin in order to do such a high shorted or high short strategy as the short sellers are doing with AMC was so easy. But right now, it's not going to be the case because things are such in a scenario that we've never been in a spot like now. We never had inflation so high. We never had, job market so hot with inflation so hot. We never had, interest rates to increase such, fast and quick and high in this period of time. We never had going out of the pandemic, going out, in a pandemic and being in a war and being with, inflation high and being with so much other uncertainty about where are we going. Is the economy going to, slow down? Is the economy going to stagnate? Is the economy going to continue to grow? And if yes, what is it gonna mean? So that creates an environment where it's not gonna be as easy for your strategy as somebody who is heavily in debt on margin, where liquidity is getting tight to continue to be able to survive those times. So, and there are a bunch of other reasons here, and there are a bunch of other reasons why AMC can easily reach $1,000. Now, we also have to look at the other side because we don't want to be dreamers. We maybe were dreamers at the beginning of this whole movement, but now we are realistic because the market has principles, mechanisms, but also we know what we're dealing with. All right. Now, AMC hitting $1,000 means AMC will now go to a market capitalization that is never ever seen before. Like a company worth 10 billion at some point going to 35, 50 billion at some point. And now, if you're talking about $1,000 price, it means this same company will be worth maybe trillions of dollars, close to trillions of dollars. Well, is that impossible? I don't think so. But how realistic it is, very difficult to predict. Very difficult to predict. But the most important thing here to look at when on the not that much good reasons, or the cons is, will people hold? Will people hold enough? Because I think the people on the other side will not let this go as easily. Why? Because if they haven't let it go at $10, why do you think they'll be letting this go as easily when it hits 100 or 150 or 200? And don't get me wrong, at those prices, it will be a lot more difficult for them, nearly impossible for them to continue to do what they're doing now. But the thing is, the pressure is going to be on us because we have everything to lose. Everything to lose in terms of we've been waiting for 2 years and now we're getting closer. Are people going to be not emotional enough, strong enough in their mind to continue to believe in what their own price targets are? Because we don't have the same price target, folks. Don't get that wrong. My price target with 500 shares is not the same price target as yours with 1,000 or even 10,000 shares. It's totally different and personal and unique to our own financial and personal household situations. And based on that, that is the big question. And then I don't think anybody has that answer. So to kind of, end up on this debate and answer this question around is AMC can reach 1,000, the answer is yes, but. Yes, but. And the but and the rest of that answer depends on everybody else to answer, giving his personal, personal scenario, personal situation, personal household finance, position size, etc., etc. You get the point, right?